Hello folks, welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen has unveiled a new light fighter, so we're going to check it out, because that's what we do with Star Citizen nerds. We look at spaceships. Let's take a look.
I would describe Kruger as beautiful, bold and elegant, not afraid to make a statement.
Unlike Origin, Kruger ships have a certain retro feel to them, but still feel upmarket. The L-21...
Yeah, this already is feeling like, I feel that, God, I don't even know what the genre of music is, but it's got that Captain Falcon F-Zero racing kind of vibe to it.
Is a light fighter designed to be fast, agile, and
yeah, we know that scene. We know what they're going for with this scene. That's Star Wars, buddy.
A light fighter designed to be fast, agile, and nimble. The trade-off is that you have to take extra care when getting into battle. You can't take the hits. You have to avoid them.
Weak!
When I first saw the concept, I thought...
Beautiful ship. Absolute beautiful ship. Can we take a quick look at the concept art? The first design that they were going for with this, just out of comparison's sake. Oops, that's not the right one. So here is what this is based off of. Good job, CIG, you picked the right one. And here's what we got. We lost the ring back here, which is really annoying because I was going to stick my finger in it. But it still has that general kind of like speed yacht look to it. It's very shiny, which we just reviewed on this channel. They're going over a lot of shaders and stuff, so makes sense.
This is really amazing and I can't wait to work on it. It looks also very challenging because of the swooping shapes and the difficult surfaces.
Instead of kind of having layered surfaces like a lot of other Star Citizen ships have, the surfaces are very clean, very smooth.
The direction for the ship was to make it sleek, aerodynamic, and aggressive.
So the thing about this, that, oops, didn't mean to do all of that. The thing about this ship is looking at the thrusters really far out, right? It's got one thruster on the back, but if you look at the other models, a lot of them had their thrusters more central to the body, a little bit less exposed. Looking at this from a functional standpoint, this actually is probably, out of all the choices they had, the most likely to get shot out of the sky, because you lose these side thrusters. And I mean, that's probably why they put one on the back, to be honest, and replaced the little hoop back here. You're done for. We don't have a lot of the ways that your ship's going to be hurt by damage and by loss of thrusters. You can already get torque imbalances now, but this is going to be out the freaking door with torque imbalances when you're starting to get in battle with this thing. But I guess in a light fighter, if you're losing your wing, you kind of lost the battle.
The exterior of the ship has the silhouette of a Spitfire, but it looks a lot more resto modern and futuristic.
We definitely looked at a lot of World War II aircraft, and that's kind of where the influence came from. The tail is shorter, so it has this very aggressive, nose pointing upward stance when it's landed.
I like it, except for the thing in the back. That thing looks very awkward sticking out.
It kind of feels like an animal waiting to pounce.
And that's why she's called the Wolf.
The engine cells on the wings, I think, create a very nice silhouette, especially from the top.
Yeah.
I'm also very, very happy with the font language that we managed to do on it.
Yeah, that looks
We decided
good.
to expose a lot of greebling. We decided to expose a lot of the engine itself.
It's primarily pipes. The heat travels down it and it really promotes how strong that the ship actually is. It highlights the grace of the ship.
The vehicle has two size-full Gatlins that can gimbal 5 degrees in all directions.
Wait a second.
The vehicle...
They need to show that slower. Oh, jeez, dude.
The vehicle has two size-full Gatlins that can gimbal
That is sweet.
5 degrees in all directions. You have 4 missiles in the left wing and you have 4 missiles in the right wing.
I'm very happy with the deploy animation of the weapons. That's something that not really any other ship does to this extent, where we have the weapons completely hidden in the fuselage, which creates a very, very smooth package.
Bro, Can we just do that to every ship? I mean, I know it's another 6 years of development, but can we? Please? Honestly, this would be really cool. We already have kind of some ships that do weapons deployed, but it'd be nice to get a warning like a Delta signature they've always talked about when weapons are deployed. I also really love this cockpit view. This looks like it's going to have so much visibility.
Left wing and your 4 missiles in the right wing.
And I think we're seeing, this might be the Kruger style HUD, possibly. I mean, it's similar to the other ones, but like there's definitely some little bits in here that make it feel like it's not quite the same as the default HUD that we would get.
I'm very happy with the deploy animation of the weapons. That's something that not really any other ship does to this extent, where we have the weapons completely hidden in the fuselage, which creates a very, very smooth package.
Okay, last time. I love that when the weapon flips over, it doesn't just lock into place, it kind of ratchets almost into place, like you can feel the weight behind it spinning.
Have the weapons completely hidden in the fuselage, which creates a very, very smooth package.
Sorry, we like pretty things.
The cockpit's a really comfy place to be. As you'll see when you look out from the ship, you have great visibility from the left, the right, and ahead of you.
I just love the cockpit. It just looks so slick. The dash is such a strong shape. I've not seen the shape before in any of the other ships.
You'll notice in between your legs a brand new clock, which I believe is the first that we've implemented in a vehicle.
Are you happy with the clock?
Yeah, the clock looks great. It looks like a Swiss timepiece that's in between your legs, just so you can keep track of server time.
Community's gonna have plenty of complaints about the clock.
It's great. It looks like a Swiss time.
It's interesting. I would think that a clock on a spaceship would have one dial that calibrates to local time and then one that calibrates to universal. I think everything works off of Earth time, but you would expect something to tell you what time it is on the planet you're on, because that probably changes a little bit.
Timepiece that's in between your legs, just so you can keep track of server time.
You have to stop saying in between your legs.
Love it in between your legs.
Oh yeah, the fin. The fin was an idea I kind of had when I noticed from certain angles, especially the nose.
So this thing looks like it's about the size of a 100i. I do not know if they have released the specs for this yet. I've been basically disconnected ever since this video came out. But the 100i, for reference, is 19 meters in length by 11 meters in width, 4 meters in height. And this looks smaller. Let me see, what was the Kruger Merlin? Let's see what size that is. So the Kruger Merlin is 12 meters in length, 2 meters in height, and 7.5 meters in width. So if this thing is looking like it's about as long, it's a little bit bigger than a Kruger, but honestly, not much. Like 4 meters in either dimension or so, longer and wider than the Kruger Merlin. For a light fighter, that's a really small ship. Most of it's taken up by the freaking nose. So this thing's going to be able to fit in a lot of stuff.
Kind of had some shapes reminiscent of a boat. So I was kind of thinking, it might be interesting to add something like a keel. Also just to make the silhouette a bit more interesting, especially when looked at from the side.
I'm going to have to give a no on that one. It's not like they took the 890 jump and added things to it that made it look like a boat. The concept art for it was like a cruise ship. It's a cruise vessel. Even the 600i to some extent has some influences of that. But to look at this and just be like, well, it looks kind of like a boat. Let's throw this awkward fin sticking off the back of it. Is this going to affect control surfaces? Because then maybe that makes a difference, but that's not what it said. Man, I wish they would just talk about how these things are supposed to work with features.
From certain angles, especially the nose, kind of had some shapes reminiscent of a boat. So I was kind of thinking, it might be interesting to add something like a keel. Also just to make the silhouette a bit more interesting.
I'm just going to cut it off if I get this ship. I'm just going to slice it off with the cutter.
And it's also, once again, something that I don't really think any other ship at this point has. And it just adds to there being a transition from landed mode to flight mode.
This ship looks great. I don't understand that.
This vehicle is for somebody who wants a nice, sleek, elegant design.
People who are into sports cars, I hope they will appreciate the surfacing on the ship. I hope people who like retro sci-fi will appreciate the big engine nacelles on the wingtips.
Definitely looks Kruger. The part that I'm most impressed with here is how much the engine fuselage, the thrusters remind me of the other Kruger ships. They do a very, very good job at carrying the design language between the ships. I think this thing looks fantastic. Love the red accent. I'm guessing this is going to look great when they release more skins for it. Yeah, I think this is a great ship. But like, why the fin?
I hope people who like retro sci-fi will appreciate the big engine nacelles on the wingtips. I hope everyone likes it.
It's very unique. There's currently no other ship that looks like it.
Is it your favorite ship you've worked on so far?
Yes, it's my favorite ship. I love the ship. It gave me a lot of headache, but...
I think the team that I worked with was really cool, and I think the ship turned out really epic, and I think you should fly it.
All right, so this thing's coming out in 4.3, and the most significant thing I think was mentioned here is it sounds like the ballistic guns are locked in. If there's this complex of an animation,
have the weapons completely hidden in the fuselage, which creates a very, very smooth package.
Yeah, I don't think...
And your 4 missiles in the right wing.
I'm very happy with the deploy animation of the weapons. That's something that not really any...
You're not going to be able to just put any weapon into this if it has this much of a custom deployment. So this is probably going to be a sticking point because bespoke weapons are starting to bug people, especially ballistics. The RSI Meteor has it. What other ships have it? I don't remember, but in recent memory, the RSI Meteor came out and people had a little bit of a hubbub with that kind of a release. This is another one. And I think this might be something that they're starting to do more as a balancing mechanic so that the ship itself doesn't have to go through that many changes. They can just kind of balance the gun that comes with this ship unless they then release the gun to something else. I don't know. There's a lot of complications in these bespoke weapons, especially being ballistics and the way that ballistics work in game right now. You're basically going to want to have a Vulcan with you at all times to reload this, because you don't want to have to return to the space station. Oh, wait, what? I'm sorry? We don't have the Vulcan in game? We can't reload ballistic ships? So we'll see how that goes. I think, honestly, besides that, the ship looks fantastic. The view from the cockpit is great. The cockpit itself seems like a pretty nice and fun design to look at. The design of the ship is really... unique. There's one of the other skins for your yellow and black for all of you people who love Hurston. And the thrusters will be something that you have to pay attention to. So there are pros and cons to this thing. I don't know what the actual specs for it are, what kind of size stuff they put on it. Don't think there's any links here or anything like that, but it's got the Gatling gun. I don't think they mentioned the size of the guns.
The vehicle has 2 size 4 Gatling.
2 size 4 Gatlings. So it actually is going to put out some decent firepower. But we'll have to get on this and play with it a little bit, drop it into Arena Commander so that we don't have to keep going back to the space station to reload, and see how this thing flies when it eventually does come out. I'm guessing since they dropped this behind the ships on Monday, which was a little bit strange of a choice for CIG, they don't usually do that. They usually drop these later in the week, but they try to drop them fairly close to the actual patch going out. Let me double check This Week in Star Citizen just to see if they have anything to say about that. Updating the public roadmap on 4.3 this Friday. Check out the weekly newsletter. So it doesn't look like they're actually going to put the patch out this week. They're not even talking about trying it. But maybe this is because it was teased on the 4.3 PTU loading screen. They wanted to get an official thing out as fast as possible. I would expect this patch to go live next week, I think. There's your first look at the Wolf. Thanks for joining.